Hello and welcome, you're here now, in this quiet space where time drifts like a feather on still air. Let your day slip away, gently, just like a page turning. At the end of a worn, leather-bound book, feel the weight. Leave your shoulders, the warmth of your blanket or bed wrapping around you like the embrace of sleep itself. You don't need to do anything right now, no thinking, no planning, only listening and breathing gently, softly, as we drift together into a story about the dreams we dream and the mysterious mind that weaves them each night. You see, people have been dreaming since the beginning, since before there were cities, before there were clocks, long before electricity, even before the written word. Humans were dreaming long ago, when early people slept beneath open skies or inside quiet, smoky caves. They dreamed. Some dreams were vivid and wild, of soaring through stars, or hearing the voice of a vanished loved one. Some dreams were dark and tangled, with shadows chasing through fog. But many dreams, like yours perhaps, were soft, strange, and beautiful. And so, people wondered, why do we dream? What are dreams made of? Where do they come from? Imagine a small, flickering campfire on a prehistoric plain. The stars above, spread like fine white sand across a deep blue canvas. Around that fire, a family, maybe a tribe, sleeps, but one or two are awake, watching the flames. And maybe, quietly, someone tells a story about the dreams they had. A spirit, a talking animal, a forest that whispered their name. These were the earliest dreamers, and the first to wonder what dreams truly meant. Their explanations, of course, were shaped by the world they lived in. A world of mystery, of animals and weather and silence. They believed dreams came from beyond, from gods, or ancestors, or the spirits of the land. In Australia, for example, the Aboriginal people spoke of the dream time, a sacred realm that existed long before the waking world, and continues to guide it even now. For them, dreams were not illusions, but a deeper reality, more real than the daytime. In ancient Egypt, too, dreams were not just nighttime flickers. They were messages. The gods, it was said, could speak to you in dreams. Pharaohs often employed dream interpreters, wise people trained to read the symbols of the sleeping world. Imagine lying on a cool stone bed inside a temple in Thebes, the scent of incense curling in the air, a priest murmuring prayers as you close your eyes, hoping for a vision. These dream temples were real. They were called incubation chambers, where people would sleep, hoping to receive a healing dream or an answer. Other civilizations, like the Sumerians and Babylonians, wrote their dreams on clay tablets. One of the oldest dream records comes from a Babylonian king who dreamed of a mighty flood, centuries before the myth of Noah ever reached paper. Across the world, dreams were sacred. They were treated with reverence, with AOB, with caution. In Greece, the philosopher Aristotle believed that dreams came from within the body, from sensations, from digestion, from internal heat. Plato, however, thought dreams could rise from the soul itself, from its truest desires in nature. And as you breathe now, slowly, let that thought drift through you. That every time you close your eyes, you're returning to a tradition older than history, the tradition of dreaming. The sleeping brain, still soft, lit by quiet lightning. We'll talk about that too. How your brain changes when you sleep. How it glows in its own way. But first, let's stay a little longer with the ancient dreamers. In China, dreams were sometimes thought to be portals. Taoist sages believed the soul could wander during sleep, leaving the body to explore distant lands or other dimensions. Some even believed that your dreams might be another life entirely, that you might dream of being a butterfly and awaken not knowing if you are a man who dreamed of being a butterfly, or a butterfly now dreaming of being a man. Even now, that idea stirs gently in your mind, doesn't it? Like a breeze in tall summer grass. And in Africa, In the lands where ancestors are honored in daily ritual, dreams were thought to be conversations with the dead, a continuation of love and memory, where the boundary between life and death could be softened by sleep. All across the ancient world, from the quiet sands of Persia to the snow-brushed fjords of the north, dreams were bridges to wisdom, to magic, to the self. And as you lie here now, drifting, perhaps you to feel that ancient curiosities stir within you. Where do your dreams come from? Why do you see the things you see? We'll travel through time tonight, through temples and laboratories, through myths and medicine, to discover what people have believed about dreams and what science has begun to uncover about your sleeping brain, but always slowly, always softly. No rush, just breath and story. Stay here with me. Let your eyes feel heavier. Let your muscles release their hold, and let the story of sleep surround you like a warm woolen cloak on a snowy night. So now, let's wander softly into the ancient world. The fire has faded to glowing embers, and the stars have shifted slightly in the sky. You're still lying back, relaxed, perhaps your hands resting by your sides, the gentle sound of your own breath, like a tide washing in and out. And as we move deeper into this story, let's slip into the places where dreams were not only expected, but invited. Imagine a marble temple, somewhere in ancient Greece, set atop a low hill, surrounded by olive trees and wild thyme. The air smells of earth and honey, with a distant hum of bees. This is a temple of Asclepios, the god of healing. People have traveled from far villages, carried in carts, or walking for days, not for medicine, not for herbs, but for dreams. They've come here to sleep. This was called incubation, a sacred sleeping ritual. In these temples, people would cleanse themselves in sacred water, change into fresh linen robes, and lie down on mats inside the sanctuary. As dusk approached, priests would chant quietly. The temple animals, often snakes, slithered peacefully nearby, symbols of transformation. And as the stars rose, so did the hope of divine visions. People believed that Asclepios might visit them in their dreams. He might speak, or offer advice, or simply place a healing hand upon them in the dream. And by morning, many woke feeling transformed, healed not by herbs, but by symbols in the dream. Perhaps they saw themselves bathed in golden light, or drinking from a crystal stream, or walking up a tall hill into a blinding sunrise. These symbols were not random. They were believed to be messages, and trained dream interpreters would listen the next day, decoding each vision with great care and compassion. This belief that the mind could be healed through dreams was not rare. It shaped entire traditions from Greece to Egypt and beyond. Now, let's go even farther back, to Mesopotamia, where some of the oldest written dreams were carved into clay. The Sumerians, who lived over 4,000 years ago, believed that dreams could foretell the future. In their great cities, Lagash, Nippur, people sought guidance through dreams for major decisions, wars, marriages. They believed that dreams could come from the gods or from demons, and not all dreams were welcome. Some tablets included prayers to ward off bad dreams, charms inscribed with words like, "May the evil dream go far from me." And when a person had a strange or frightening dream, they might consult a baro priest, a type of dream expert, who would compare the vision to ancient archives. Even today, echoes of this practice remain. Have you ever woken from a dream and searched for its meaning? Maybe you've wondered what water means, or a falling tooth, or flying. That curiosity is older than language itself. Now gently shift with me to ancient Egypt. There, the dream was a bridge between the mortal and the divine. Many Egyptians believed that during sleep, the soul, called the Ba, would leave the body and wander. It might float through other realms, or visit the afterlife, or travel through time. Because of this, sleep was treated with reverence, and dreams were considered gifts. The pharaohs even had dream books, scrolls containing dream interpretations passed down through generations. These texts classify dreams as good or bad, based on symbols. A dream of eating might suggest abundance. A dream of drowning might be a warning. In tombs, artwork often showed people sleeping beneath the gaze of deities, surrounded by stars and soft wings, reminding the soul where it might travel at night. And while rulers focused on divine guidance, ordinary people also dreamt deeply. Imagine a simple home in ancient Egypt, walls made of sun-dried mud brick, warm with candlelight. A mother lying with her children, whispering stories from her own dreams the night before. Soft wind blowing in through red windows. These scenes, soft, quiet, ordinary, are also part of the history of dreaming, because not all dreams were sacred. Some were simple, fleeting. Just like now, in every age, people dreamt of lost loves, of distant memories, of unknown places. They woke with wonder, or sadness, or curiosity, and returned the next night to dream again. Now let yourself imagine another culture. Ancient India. There, in the sacred texts of the Vedas and sleep and dreams were deeply philosophical. They spoke of 4 states of consciousness: waking, dreaming, deep sleep, and pure awareness. Dreams were seen as part of the cosmic self, the individual soul dancing in illusion of memory and dream control. Even lucid dreaming was studied thousands of years ago. Meditation, breath work, and mindfulness were all part of preparing for sleep. People were taught to lie down with a calm heart, to breathe slowly, and to let go of the day with gratitude. Even today, many of these ideas remain. So, as you lie here now, with the weight of the world softened by your breath, you're connected to thousands of years of bedtime ritual. People lying in silence, in clay houses, or marble temples, all waiting for the story that dreams might tell. And you, too, may hear something tonight, not in words, but in symbols, not in noise, but in stillness, because dreams are the poetry of the sleeping brain. Now let us slip gently forward in time. The temples have crumbled into ruins. The pharaohs have passed into legend. And still, people sleep. And still, people dream. We drift now into the Middle Ages. Imagine a quiet stone cottage, nestled beneath a hill. The sun has long since vanished behind the trees. A single candle burns low in a small clay dish, casting golden ripples across the wooden beams above. Outside, the night is still. Maybe a breeze rustles the ivy against a window, or a distant owl calls from the woods. Inside, a family prepares for sleep, not in beds as we know them, but perhaps on a straw mattress near the hearth. The fire crackles low, and the scent of smoke, lavender, and dry hay mixes in the cool air. They speak in hushed tones of what tomorrow may bring, of how the bread rose that morning, and often of the dreams they had the night before. Because in the medieval world, dreams were not just curiosities. They were messages, warnings, glimpses into heaven, or into something darker. In Europe, dreams were seen through a religious lens. The church taught that some dreams came from God, but others came from the devil. People were told to be cautious. A dream of flying could be a sign of pride. A dream of fire might mean temptation. But not everyone feared their dreams. In villages and towns across the land, people still paid close attention to them. Farmers might dream of a heavy storm and prepare their fields in advance. A mother might dream of illness and keep her children closer that day. Even saints recorded their dreams, visions of angels glowing with light, of ladders rising to the stars, or of voices calling them to distant missions. And yet, ordinary people dreamed, too, of lost friends, of distant green hills, of walking through a village they'd never seen, but somehow recognized. Let your mind wander there, now walking through a medieval village just before dawn. The mist still clings to the earth. The baker's fire is just beginning to stir. and the sky glows faintly with the promise of sunrise. A child wakes, blinking in the pale light, and whispers to her sister, "I dreamed of a silver bird with eyes like stars." They won't understand what it means. Not fully, but they'll carry that image with them for days, a symbol tucked quietly into their hearts. In this time, people kept dream books. Small handwritten volumes passed from hand to hand. These books listed dream symbols and their meanings. If you dreamed of climbing a ladder, success was near. If you dreamed of eating honey, joy would come. A dog, loyalty. A river, change. A snake, depending on color, could mean either wisdom or deceit. But these meanings were never fixed. They shifted, like the dreams themselves. And so, dreams became part of daily life. Even kings listened to them. One medieval king, it's said, delayed a battle after his court astrologer dreamed of a red moon and black birds. Whether superstition or wisdom, who's to say? But it reminds us how seriously people once listened to sleep. They believed the night could whisper the truth. Now let's move into a medieval monastery, where monks lived lives of silence and contemplation. Their dreams, too, were recorded, sometimes in beautiful, looping Latin script. A monk might dream of Christ in a garden, or of walking along a glowing riverbank with no footstep. Or, sometimes, dreams came from hunger, or long hours spent in fasting and prayer. They understood, even then, that the body affected the mind, and the mind shaped dreams. So let's pause for a moment here. You've heard firelight crackle, felt the chill of ancient stone, glimpsed the flicker of candlelight on parchment, and all along the way, you've seen how dreams were not nonsense, not background noise. They were woven into the very meaning of life. And while these beliefs may seem distant, your dreams still carry pieces of them. Maybe you've dreamed of an old cathedral, or of walking through a foggy town, or of climbing a hill with no end. These images might feel new, but they are older than memory, because the sleeping brain remembers everything. It remembers shapes and shadows, the feeling of wooden floor, the hush of rain on stone roofs. Your brain, as you sleep, gathers it all, and then paints pictures in silence, wanders through symbols, tells stories made of fragments and feelings. And as you lie there now, perhaps you feel that wonder return, that quiet knowing that dreams are more than nonsense. They are echoes of the past and whispers of the soul. Let's rest here a while. In the middle of this story, you are safe, you are warm, and all is quiet. The fire burns low, the village sleeps, and you are drifting. Let us now rise softly from the medieval hills and step into the slow dawning light of the Renaissance, a time when curiosity stirred in the minds of poets and painters, when the world itself seemed to be waking from a long slumber. New ideas bloomed like spring flowers, and among those ideas was a renewed wonder about sleep and the mysteries of the dreaming brain. Imagine walking down a cobbled street in Florence. The soft clatter of hooves echoes gently through the alleyways. The warm scent of bread and ink drifts from open windows. The world is filled with art, invention, and learning. But even here, beneath all the brilliance, people still sleep and dream. And for the first time in centuries, they begin to study sleep not just as a spiritual experience, but as a natural, observable part of life. Philosophers, physicians, and early scientists gathered in candlelit libraries, scrolling through ancient texts and beginning, slowly, to write their own. They asked, what happens to the body during sleep? Why does the mind imagine strange things? Where do dreams come from, if not from gods? The human body was now seen as a wondrous machine, complex, sacred, and full of hidden workings. And sleep was one of its most beautiful functions. Leonardo da Vinci, brilliant and curious in all things, was said to experiment with sleep itself. He tried napping for short intervals throughout the day, what we now call polyphasic sleep. His notebooks are filled with sketches of eyes closed and rest, and cryptic notes about dreams. Imagine his studio at night, a single lantern burning low, a canvas half finished, and Da Vinci himself drifting into slumber in the corner, wondering what the brain paints behind closed eyes. Elsewhere in Europe, thinkers debated what dreams truly meant. Were they messages? Were they leftovers from the day? Or were they, as some proposed, the brain simply sorting itself? Descartes, the French philosopher, famously questioned reality itself, asking, "What if everything is a dream?" His thought experiments inspired generations of scientists and mystics alike, and yet, even as minds turned to science, the old beliefs lingered. Many people still turned to kept symbols close, and whispered dreams to friends over breakfast, because for all its complexity, the dream was still a mystery, and mystery, it seems, is something the human heart never outgrows. Now, let's move to a quiet bedroom in 17th century England. The bed is tall, with heavy carved posts and thick curtains to hold in the warmth. The fire has gone out, and only a single candle remains, its flame fluttering like a heartbeat. A physician sleeps after a long evening of writing. Beside him, a book lies open, its pages filled with notes on sleep, rest, and the patterns of dreaming. He has begun to notice that his dreams seem clearer after certain herbs, valerian, lavender, and that, when he is ill, his dreams grow more intense, fevered, strange. He wonders if perhaps the body's state changes the nature of the mind, and in this, he is right. The Renaissance did not unlock all the secrets of sleep, but it laid the first stones in the path toward understanding it, not just as a spiritual event, but as something rooted in biology. And yet, even the most rational thinkers of the time still believed dreams could carry truth, a message hidden in metaphor, a wisdom wrapped in silk. In this era, art began to reflect dreams as well. Painters created vast, symbolic works of floating bodies, of heavenly skies, of staircases leading nowhere, and masked figures in moonlit gardens. They painted the world not as it was, but as it might appear in dreams. Their brushes were dipped in sleep. So when you next drift into slumber, know that you're walking alongside centuries of dreamers. From the mystics of temples to the scholars of the Renaissance, each of them searching, wondering, imagining, and the sleeping brain, as ever, quietly humming, creating, restoring. You don't need to solve it. You don't need to think. Just rest and let the dreaming begin. Now the candle flickers lower and time, once again, carries us gently forward, toward the age of reason of wires and microscopes of quiet. Laboratories where sleep was no longer just imagined, but studied. We're now in the 19th century, and slowly, softly, the world begins to shift. Cities glow with gas lamps, trains hum softly across hills, and inside quiet rooms, filled with velvet curtains and polished wood, the first true scientists asleep begin to emerge. Close your eyes for a moment, and imagine one of these rooms. The walls lined with books. Glass vials and beakers catch the light from a low-burning oil lamp. And in the corner, a man sits by a sleeping subject, watching, listening, not for dreams themselves, but for signs of what the body does. When the mind lets go, one of the first great explorers of the sleeping mind was Sigmund Freud. You've likely heard his name, often misunderstood, often debated, but always curious. He believed that dreams were the royal road to the unconscious, that every strange image, a house with no doors, a fallen tooth, a train running endlessly, was a symbol of something buried, desires, fears, forgotten thoughts. He saw dreams not as nonsense, but as codes, and though many of his theories are no longer used, his reverence for dreams shaped the world's curiosity. Freud invited people to speak their dreams aloud, to lie down and wander back through the images, the faces, the colors, the feelings. He made dreaming something to explore. Meanwhile, others began studying sleep in new ways. Not just what we dreamed, but what the body did during those deep hours. By the early 20th century, scientists had developed new tools, machines with soft wires and ink pens, designed to track the brain's rhythms. And for the first time, we could see in real time that the brain does not go silent during sleep. Far from it. It pulses, it waves, it dances. Different stages of sleep, each with their own patterns. There's a stage when the body grows still, and a stage when the eyes move rapidly beneath the lids called REM, rapid eye movement. And during REM, that's when we dream the most. Even when the body lies still, the brain flares to life. It lights up almost as much as it does when we're awake, as if dreaming were just another form of consciousness. Not absence, but presence in a different world. And so we began to understand sleep, not as a pause, but as a process. Each night, our brains cycle through stages. Light sleep, deep sleep, REM sleep, again and again. In gentle rhythms, while we rest, our brain is cleaning, healing, sorting, remembering. It stores memories, processes emotions, strengthens the immune system, balances the body's chemistry, all while you lie there, still and soft, beneath a blanket, breathing quietly. It's a beautiful idea, isn't it? That while we seem to do nothing, our brain is caring for us. It's tending to the garden of the mind, pulling weeds, watering roots, gathering the fallen petals of the day. Even more amazing, everyone dreams, even if you don't remember them. You dream every night, every person, everywhere. Children, the elderly, people living in palaces, people sleeping under open skies. Dreaming is universal, a secret art shared by all of humanity. And as we enter the modern era, scientists began to ask, can we see dreams? Can we record them? Can we understand what the brain is truly doing? We now know more than ever, but not everything. Dreams remain mysterious. Even with all our machines, our scans and studies, there is something about dreaming that slips through our fingers. Something quiet and deeply human. So when you close your eyes tonight, you're not shutting down. You're beginning a journey into a vast inner world. A world shaped by science and mystery and memory and story. And your sleeping brain, glowing quietly in the dark, will guide you through it all. Softly, gently, beautifully. Now the clock ticks gently into the modern age. Outside your window, perhaps the moon still glows. Or maybe its early in dawn is just beginning to whisper its light. Wherever you are part of this great, quiet history of dreaming. The modern world moves quickly. Trains, cars, planes, satellites, bright screens, long days. But even now, every night, we all return to that timeless ritual. Sleep. It is one of the only things that connects every generation, every continent, every life. And with sleep, come dreams. In today's world, we know more about dreams than ever before. And yet, we still marvel at them. Sleep labs now track the smallest flickers of brain activity. Neurologists peer into MRI scans, watching how memories shift and strengthen during slumber. We know that the dreaming brain can solve problems. It can stitch ideas together. It can practice real-life movements, as if rehearsing while the body lies still. Athletes dream of perfecting their technique. Musicians dream of melodies they've never heard. Scientists have literally dreamed up solutions to questions they couldn't solve when awake. Even artists continue the age-old tradition of painting from dreams. Some of the world's most famous stories, inventions, and songs came not in boardrooms or classrooms, but in sleep. Mary Shelley dreamt of Frankenstein after a stormy night by Lake Geneva. Paul McCartney claimed the melody of Yesterday came to him in a dream. He woke, hummed it, and thought surely he must have heard it somewhere before. But no. It had come from his sleeping mind. Dreams have also led to scientific discoveries, like the structure of the benzene ring, a circle of atoms seen in a dream by chemist August, who saw a snake eating its own tail. So even now, the brain, when dreaming, is not idle. It's creating, imagining, solving. And yet, for most of us, dreams remain quiet. Personal moments, they're not always grand inventions or famous ideas. Sometimes, they're just small flickers. You might dream of a garden you've never seen, or of talking to someone long gone. You might fly. You might return to a house from childhood and walk its halls again. These dreams may not change the world, but they belong to you, and that makes them sacred. Now, let us imagine a modern sleeper. Perhaps in a quiet apartment in Tokyo, or a farmhouse in Canada, or a cottage near the ocean in Portugal. The room is dark, the hum of a fan, the soft hiss of rain outside. A person sleeps, blanket rising and falling with their breath. In their mind, images bloom and fade. Perhaps they are walking through a forest, or listening to someone who isn't really there, or watching the stars swirl like a spiral. Their eyes flicker behind closed lids. Their body is still. But inside, a universe is unfolding. That's what the dreaming brain does. It builds worlds from memory, from hope, from fear, from love. Some dreams feel random, some feel meaningful, some stay with us for days, and some are forgotten the moment we wake. But each one matters. Each one is a part of you. Even science, with all its tools and knowledge, cannot fully explain the why of dreams. It can tell us when they happen and what the brain looks like when we're in REM. But the content, the story, the feeling, it remains yours. Now, we also know something beautiful. Dreams help us regulate emotion. When you sleep, your brain is helping you process the day. It's filing away memories. It's untangling feelings. It's softening pain and polishing joy. It's as if, while you rest, your mind is a quiet librarian, walking the halls of memory, placing thoughts in their proper shelves. And when something cannot be solved while awake, your dreams may try again. Some researchers call this the overnight therapy effect. Have you ever gone to bed upset, only to wake up feeling a little lighter? That's your sleeping brain, doing what it does best. Restoring, repairing, reshaping. So as you lie here now, perhaps very still, perhaps with your eyes already drifting closed, let yourself feel the wonder of that. That right now, your brain is preparing to dream. And those dreams, whether clear or cloudy, wild or soft, memorable or mysterious, will be a part of your secret sleeping self. Let go of your day. Let go of the clocks, the lists, the noise. This is your time to float on the quiet waters of sleep into the secret life of the mind. No effort, no pressure, just softness and breath and dreams. Now that we've wandered so far through time, perhaps your breath is slower, your limbs are looser, and your mind is beginning to drift toward that liminal place, the gentle edge between waking and dreaming. And that's exactly where we are now, in the borderlands of sleep, where things grow hazy, soft, a little strange, but not frightening, just curious, just dreamlike. Because sleep is not just rest, it's also a kind of voyage. And for some, that voyage can be guided, shaped, even steered. Let's talk now about lucid dreaming. Lucid dreams are dreams in which you know you are dreaming. And sometimes, if you remain calm enough, you can even shape what happens. Fly over mountaintops, speak to someone you miss, walk through a city made of starlight, swim to the bottom of a golden sea. All of it possible within the lucid dream. This isn't new. In fact, people have described lucid dreams for centuries. Ancient Buddhist texts speak of dream yoga, a practice of training the mind to stay aware even during sleep. By remaining conscious inside the dream, they believed one could glimpse the true nature of reality. In the 8th century, Tibetan monks developed meditation techniques to carry awareness from the waking state into sleep and into dreaming. In the 1600s, Dutch physician and writer Frederik van Eden coined the term lucid dreaming. He kept a detailed journal of his dreams and noticed that sometimes he knew he was inside them. He described it as a light within the dream, a second awareness, a witness, and even today, lucid dreaming fascinates scientists and dreamers alike. But what exactly happens in the brain when someone is lucid? Recent studies using brain imaging show that during lucid dreams, the prefrontal cortex, the part of the brain used in decision-making and logic, becomes more active than in typical dreaming. It's as if a bit of the waking mind has switched back on within the dream. And though not everyone has lucid dreams, many can learn. There are gentle practices like writing down your dreams in the morning or looking at your hands throughout the day and asking, "Am I dreaming?" These small habits may carry over into your sleep, helping you recognize when you're inside a dream. But not all curious sleep experiences are about control. Some are simply strange, unexpected, mysterious. Let's talk now about sleepwalking minds. Sleepwalking, or somnambulism, is a phenomenon where a person moves, even walks, while still asleep. It can seem startling, but for most people, it's harmless. Children often sleepwalk more than adults, and it usually happens during deep, non-dreaming sleep, when the body is very still, but the part of the brain responsible for movement temporarily wakes. Imagine a small child in the middle of the night, slowly rising from bed, walking to a quiet hallway, then returning to bed, never waking, never remembering. It's the mind, partially awake, partially dreaming. Other sleep experiences to exist in this in-between world. Have you heard of sleep paralysis? It's when your mind wakes, but your body does not. For a few moments, you may feel as though you're frozen. You may see shadows, hear soft whispers. It can feel eerie, but it's completely natural. It happens when the body's protective mechanism, which keeps you from physically acting out your dreams, lingers a little longer than usual. Once understood, many people find the experience easier to move through. They learn to breathe, to stay calm, and to wait until full waking returns. It reminds us that sleep is not one simple thing. It's a vast landscape. Dreams, lucid moments, deep stillness, strange echoes, and bright flashes. All part of the quiet night work your brain does. All part of the secret life of your mind. Now imagine yourself standing on the shoreline of sleep. Behind you, the world of wakefulness. Ahead of you, a sea of dreams. Waves made of memory. Currents shaped by thought. Wind stirred by imagination. You're about to set sail. Not into fantasy, but into your own mind. One of the most ancient, beautiful, and mysterious landscapes there is. Take a long, slow breath. Let your body feel heavy, but safe. You are wrapped in warmth and story. And as you drift farther into sleep, know that your brain, quiet and kind, is here with you, always working gently, always creating. Dreams are not a mystery to be solved. They are a gift, a story only you can tell, each night, in your own way. So let go now. There's nothing more to know, nothing to figure out. Just a soft ripple of thought, and the hush of night, and the cradle of sleep waiting to carry you, gently, into the unknown. You're resting so deeply now, surrounded by soft shadows in the hush of night. Each word drifts gently through your mind, like falling leaves on a still lake. And as we continue this quiet journey through sleep and dreams, let us turn now to something beautiful, something comforting. The way sleep heals us, the way it holds us, the way, without our asking, our sleeping brain tends the garden of our mind. We've learned that sleep is more than rest. It's repair, it's renewal, It's memory and growth and calm, woven together in the hours after dusk. Close your eyes and imagine, deep inside your brain, tiny messengers move silently between cells. They carry nutrients. They sweep away toxins. They mend tiny tears left behind by the day's thoughts and actions. This process happens most deeply in the slowest part of sleep, a place called deep sleep, or slow wave sleep. In this stage, your body's heart rate slows, your muscles become still, and your brain waves move in long, gentle ripples, as if the mind itself were breathing slowly. Scientists have discovered that during this time, the brain flushes out waste like a gentle tide. A fluid called cerebrospinal fluid washes through your brain, clearing out byproducts of thinking. It's as if, while you sleep, your brain is taking a soft, quiet bath. And beyond the body, sleep heals the heart. Have you ever noticed that? After a long rest, your worries feel lighter. That a problem so heavy in the evening seems smaller by morning. That's not just a feeling, it's a process. Dreaming, especially during REM sleep, helps us process emotions. Memories from the day are sifted and sorted, like pages in a great silent library. Some are filed away, some are softened, some are let go completely. It's as if the sleeping brain is an alchemist, turning heavy memories into something golden, gentler, something easier to carry. In this way, sleep protects our emotional balance. During war, during famine, even in ancient times of great hardship, humans still found ways to sleep. Because sleep is medicine. Even when there were no doctors, no pills, no treatments, there was always the bed, the blanket, the slow breath, the gift of letting go. In medieval monasteries, sleep was treated with quiet reverence. Monks followed sacred sleep schedules. 2 long sessions with a gentle waking in the middle, used for reflection or prayer. In ancient Greece, people visited sleep temples, where dreams were considered part of the healing process. Priests would whisper sacred words, offer incense and herb, and invite the patient to sleep in a quiet chamber. There, the gods would visit in dreams, bringing guidance, or healing, or peace. Even today, modern therapists study dreams to help people understand the hidden parts of themselves. Dreams can offer insight, bring closure, or even help solve problems the waking brain cannot unravel. Now, think of your own dreams. The ones you remember, the ones that slipped away with the morning light. They are not lost. They live inside you as impressions, as instincts, as quiet colors on the edge of thought. Dream memory is delicate, like smoke, or silk, or wind. Some people wake and write them down. Others let them fade. There's no wrong way. Your dreams are yours, private, sacred, strange, and perfectly natural. And even when you forget them, your brain does not. It carries the wisdom of dreams, woven into your moods, your ideas, your quiet strength. Dreams may be fleeting, but they leave fingerprints on the soul. Now, imagine yourself lying in a soft bed. Not in this time, but perhaps in a small stone room, in an ancient world. The air smells of lavender. A breeze stirs a linen curtain. Somewhere, a gentle bell rings in the distance. Your mind is still, but inside, a dream begins. A path through a glowing forest, a conversation with someone long gone, a bird that sings in your language, a light that welcomes you. All of it healing, all of it safe, all of it you. Because dreaming is not something that happens to you. It is something you do, a creation, an exploration, a song sung in silence. And tonight, your sleeping brain will carry you again to the places you need to go. Maybe you'll remember, maybe you won't. But either way, you'll wake softer, stronger, and more whole. Because dreams, even the ones you forget, are part of what makes you beautifully human. As you drift deeper, now let your breath fall into a steady rhythm like a lullaby, sung without words, soft and slow, and timeless. Because now, dear dreamer, we journey farther than just the sleeping brain. We journey into how humanity, all over the world, has made sense of dreams. From the frozen steppes of the north to the sunlit deserts of the south, people have always dreamed, and they have always wondered what dreams mean. Let us begin long ago, in the sands of ancient Egypt. To the Egyptians, dreams were not random. They were sacred messages, sometimes from gods, sometimes from spirits, and often from the soul itself. Pharaohs kept dream interpreters close at hand. Temples were built to honor dream visions, and priests created thick scrolls filled with dream symbols. A snake in a dream might mean healing. A rising sun might foretell victory. The Ramesside Dream Book, written over 3,000 years ago, is one of the oldest dream manuals ever found. Its pages offer interpretations, both good and bad, for hundreds of dream scenes. Now, imagine a quiet scribe in ancient Thebes, lighting a small oil lamp, unrolling a papyrus scroll, and gently whispering interpretations to a worried noble who had dreamed of fallen stars. Not far away, in Mesopotamia, the Babylonians and Sumerians believed dreams could shape destiny. Their kings took dreams seriously. In clay tablets etched with cuneiform, we find accounts of royal dreams, of floods, of battles, and of gods delivering advice in the hush of sleep. One tablet tells of the great king who built a temple based on a dream he believed came directly from a divine voice. To these early civilizations, a dream was more than a vision. It was a thread in the great fabric of fate. Now, drift eastward to the mist-covered mountains of China. In ancient Chinese culture, dreams were viewed as voyages, not of fantasy, but of the soul. The Taoist philosopher famously wrote of dreaming he was a butterfly, only to wonder, when he woke, whether he was a man who had dreamed he was a butterfly, or a butterfly dreaming he was a man. This beautiful paradox captures a central idea in Taoist thought, that dreams and waking life are not so separate. Each reflects the other. Each is part of the whole. In India, the spiritual traditions also spoke deeply of dreams. In the Kulturiya, a kind of pure awareness that exists beneath all three. In some traditions, dreams were seen as glimpses of karma, echoes of past lives or teachings sent from divine guides. Travel now, gently, to the open plains of Africa. Among the Zulu and Xhosa peoples, dreams have long held cultural importance. They are seen not only as personal, but communal. Messages from ancestors, guidance from those who came before. To this day, dream interpreters in some African communities hold respected roles, not just as mystic, but as caretakers of emotional and spiritual well-being. A troubling dream might be discussed with an elder, a healer, or even shared with the wider village to be understood as part of the community's story. And far away, in the icy beauty of the Arctic, the Inuit people believe that dreams can reveal truths hidden in waking life. Inuit shamans, known as Angakuk, often dream of animals or spirit and return with teachings to help the tribe. To them, dreams and the land are deeply connected. The dream world and the physical world are woven together like sealskin and thread. And in South America, among the Shipibo of the Amazon, dreams are considered sacred medicine. During plant ceremonies, dreams may be shared aloud, understanding that they hold insight, warning, or healing. These dreams are not kept secret. They are offered as part of a greater circle of wisdom all over the world. Throughout all time, humanity has listened to its dreams. Sometimes we feared them. Sometimes we worshiped them. Sometimes we laughed at them or wrote poems about them. But always, we remembered. Now let your mind float freely through all of these ancient places. Imagine a thread spun from starlight that ties every dreamer together, from the priest in Egypt, to the grandmother in Mali, to the monk in Tibet, to you, lying quietly now, eyes growing heavier. We are all part of the same dreaming lineage, the same sleeping sky. the same quiet mystery. The dreams you will have tonight are not random. They are your stories, your memories, your spirit wandering softly through the halls of your own imagination. And perhaps, just perhaps, you will meet someone there, a figure from long ago, a symbol, a whisper, an answer. Let yourself drift. There's nothing you need to do, nothing to fix, nothing to control. Just breathe and dream. Now we enter a quieter space, a place not darker, but deeper. Just as every forest has shaded corners, so too does the mind in dreaming. And within this soft dreaming landscape, there are paths that twist, and visions that stir a little more deeply in the chest. These are the dreams we sometimes call nightmares. But let us speak of them gently. Let us remove the fear from the word and simply understand. A nightmare is a message with strong colors. It speaks in thunder rather than in whispers. But it too comes from within you. Throughout history, people have tried to understand these shadowed dreams. Where do they come from? Why do they visit? In medieval Europe, some believed nightmares were caused by spirits, an invisible creature known as a Mara that sat upon the chest of the sleeper, bringing troubling visions. This belief even gave us the word itself, night for the dark, and mare for the phantom. But let us look beyond that old fear. Even in ancient times, some healers and mystics saw nightmares, not as curses, but as warnings or transformations. A dream of falling might come not to frighten, but to signal release, to teach us how to let go, to trust the wind, to remember that we are never truly alone. A dream of being chased could reveal something you're running from, not a monster in the world, but a feeling, a memory, an unfinished emotion waiting to be acknowledged. You see, the brain, especially in dream, has no interest in hurting you. It is always trying to speak, even in its most intense language. When we are awake, we sometimes push things away. We stay busy. We move on. But the sleeping brain, it doesn't forget. It gently gathers what you've tucked aside and weaves it into a story. Even fear, even grief. And sometimes that story is loud. That story comes as a shadow, but the shadow is never the enemy. The shadow is the part of the self that has not yet been lit. In Tibetan Buddhist practice, there are meditations for facing the imagery of dreams, even the frightening ones. Practitioners learn to stay present, to see the figures in their dreams not as threats, but as teachers. They learn to ask, what is this dream trying to show me? And through that calm awareness, the dream changes. The monster fades, the fear dissolves, and what is left is truth, a hidden truth, rising like dawn through a foggy field. In the modern world, psychologists today understand that nightmares are often the mind's way of processing stress. They help the brain rehearse, rebuild, and repair. Soldiers returning from war may dream of battle, not because they are broken, but because the brain is trying desperately to heal. Children may dream of being lost or forgotten when they are simply learning how to find themselves. Even your own nightmares, though unsettling, are invitations to listen, to pause, to care for yourself. And over time, if you greet your shadow dreams with softness instead of fear, they begin to transform. What once chased you now becomes a guide. What once screamed may begin to sing. You might even come to look forward to the dreams that stir you, for they bring renewal, just like a storm that clears the sky. Now close your eyes, if they're not closed already, and breathe with me. Inhale, gently, like drawing in the scent of fresh earth after rain, and exhale, releasing anything that's been quietly sitting in your chest. Tonight, as you rest, your dreams may come in many forms. Some soft, some strange, some shining with light, and some wearing cloaks of shadow. But all of them are your companions. There is no need to run, no need to resist. Even nightmares pass. They always do. Like waves that rise and fall, never staying, just flowing through. And when they go, they leave behind something beautiful, a deeper understanding, a lighter heart, a quieter mind. So if a dream tonight knocks on your door, even if it feels intense, greet it. Ask it what it came to teach you, and then gently drift on. There are brighter dreams ahead, always. And just beyond the edges of fear, the stars still shine. By now, your body is heavy with rest, your breath slow, your eyes soft. Each word we share floats like mist, settling into quiet places in your mind. And so we turn to a tradition both ancient and simple, a way of honoring dreams, of remembering them, of making space for them to return. The Dream Journal. Since the earliest days of writing, humans have recorded their dreams in clay, in ink, on parchment, in the corners of prayer books, and in little leather-bound diaries hidden beneath pillows, because dreams, though elusive, are precious. Even a single phrase, a dream of golden fish in the sky, or a door that opens to the sea, can carry meaning. In ancient Mesopotamia, over 4,000 years ago, scribes carved dreams into tablets. Priests interpreted them, looking for omens or divine guidance. In Egypt, dream books were kept in temples. They listed symbols. A crocodile means danger. A bird in flight means freedom. A red sky means transformation. Each image was believed to speak the secret language of the soul. And still today, the Dream Journal lives on. A quiet notebook by the bed, a pen that waits, ready to catch the shape of memory before it fades with the morning light. To keep a dream journal is not to solve dreams, but to greet them, to say, I see you, I welcome you. Even if I don't understand you yet, you might write a paragraph. You might write a single word. You might draw. It is not about perfection. It is about presence. Some even say that by writing down your dreams, you dream more often or remember more vividly, as if the dreaming brain, feeling heard, begins to speak more clearly. Now imagine this quiet ritual. You wake gently, light peeks through linen curtains. The world is still. You reach for your journal. You write. Last night, I was walking through a city made of glass. Each building hummed with music. There was no fear. Just that. And then the day begins. But that dream lingers in you. A softness you carry into your waking hours. A secret strength. There are other rituals too. For inviting dreams. In many cultures, certain herbs were used to help the mind relax. Lavender, mugwort, chamomile. In the Middle Ages, people tucked sprigs of rosemary under their pillows to keep nightmares away. They believed rosemary held memory and peace. Others burned sweet resins like frankincense or myrrh, letting the smoke swirl through the room to calm the spirit. And across centuries, sleeping spaces were prepared with intention. In Japan, futons were folded with care. In Scandinavia, fur blankets held the warmth of firelit cabins. In North Africa, cool clay walls sheltered dreamers from the desert heat. The act of preparing for sleep was seen as sacred, a moment to close the doors on the day and open the windows to the night, to invite the moon and stars into the quiet space where the transformation could begin. And you, too, can create your own ritual, something to soothe the body and open the door to dreaming. Perhaps a warm drink or a candle lit low, just so you remember to breathe, or a lullaby, sung or remembered, or simply stillness, a moment to say, I welcome rest, I welcome dream. Because just as dreams need the body to fall into quiet, the body sometimes needs the heart to give it permission. Sleep is not laziness. It is not wasted time. It is holy. It is healing. It is a return to the source. And each dream is a message carried back from that source. A message from your own deep knowing. Let yourself trust it. Let yourself rest into it. You are safe here. You are whole. And your dreams, they are yours alone. No one else can dream them for you. They are the sacred art of your sleeping self. Every night you get to make a masterpiece, a tangible offering to your truest self. Every night your soul paints a new picture on the canvas of your dreams. What will you dream tonight? And now, as your breath slows and your body lies heavy and safe beneath your blankets, let us wander forward, just a little, into the quiet folds of the modern world. Because even now, amid lights that do not dim and clocks that never pause, sleep remains. Timeless, patient, waiting. But things have changed. The world is faster now. No longer does the sky grow dark and signal silence. Cities glow well past midnight. Phones blink and hum by our bedsides. The hum of the day never truly fades. And so, for many of us, rest becomes something to chase instead of something we receive. Where once night was a time to gather to share gentle stories by the fire, to listen to the sounds of wind through trees. Now it is often a time to catch up, to scroll, to finish what the day could not hold. But your body remembers. It remembers candlelight. It remembers silence. It remembers the weight of dreams. Even if your schedule forgets, your bones have not. Even now, beneath the hum of the world, the brain calls for stillness. A longing not just for sleep, but for depth. And so people have begun to return, to rediscover. In recent years, the value of sleep has become sacred again. Scientists study it, doctors protect it, therapists encourage dream journaling and sleep rituals once more. We begin to understand that without sleep, we wither. Without dreams, we drift from ourselves. And so we light candles again. We turn off screens. We drink warm teas. We seek darkness, not as something to fear, but as something to welcome. Because in the dark, we return to ourselves. It is in the dark that the mind stitches together memory. It processes grief. It rewires hurt. It sorts the day and sends up small signals in the form of dreams. So as the world rushes, you can choose to pause. You can make your room a sanctuary of silence. A place that says, "Here we rest." You can dim the lights. Let soft sounds hold the space. The gentle hiss of rain against the glass. The hush of wind through curtains. The distant chime of a bell. Or nothing at all. Silence itself becomes a lullaby. And you, who have lived through so much, you deserve peace. Even if only for this one night. Even if only for these few hours. Let the world spin on without you. Let the deadlines wait. Let the inbox rest. Because you are resting. And in that rest, you return. Back to center. Back to rhythm. Back to the deep breath that lives beneath every task and thought. Let your mind drift now. No need to focus. No need to follow. If the words become misty and soft, that is good. You are not meant to stay alert. You are meant to float, to surrender to stillness in a world that so rarely stops. And here, in this quiet place, your dreams await you. Not with demands, but with offerings. Images of warmth, of curiosity, of strange and beautiful places, of people long gone and feelings still alive. This is the gift of sleep in the modern world. Not a retreat, but a return. Not escape, but rejoining the oldest rhythm your body has ever known. Sleep is not the end of your day. It is the part where you begin again. So let go now. Let yourself be soft. Nothing more is needed. You have done enough. Now let your mind wander back again, past cities, past machines, past the flicker of electric light, back to a time when sleep was not only necessary, but sacred. A time when people made long journeys not to be cured by medicine, but to be healed by dreams. These were the ancient dream sanctuaries, the sleep temples in the lands of old Greece, across the Mediterranean, along the hillsides and sacred groves. There stood temples dedicated not to worship alone, but to rest. These were the Asclepians, named for the healing god, as pilgrims traveled from far and wide to lie upon stone beds in cool chambers of silence. Their ailments, of body, of mind, of spirit, were brought not to be spoken aloud, but to be dreamed. This sacred practice was known as incubation. To sleep within the temple, under the watchful symbols of the gods, and allow the dream to speak. Sometimes a snake symbol of transformation would appear in the dream. Sometimes a clear voice, or a vision of waters, or the presence of a radiant healer with gentle hands. And upon waking, priests would listen. They would interpret gently, without force. The meaning always belonged to the dreamer. You can picture it now. White marble walls cool beneath the stars. The soft shuffle of sandals on smooth stone. The scent of crushed herbs wafting on night air. Thyme, laurel, myrrh. A pool of water glistens at the temple's heart, reflecting torchlight, reflecting stars, reflecting, and a voice, your own perhaps, gently says, "Rest here. You are safe. The dream will come." These ancient temples were not places of spectacle. They were places of slowness, of silence. Priests did not speak over you. There were no dramatic cures. There was only the belief that dreams carry wisdom, that the body can speak in symbols, that healing does not always come with noise. And the dreamer was treated as sacred. Your breath deepens now, as if some part of you remembers this gentler time, this reverent approach. You don't need to go far to find a sleep temple. Your room can become one. Your bed, a sacred space. Your journal, a scroll of wisdom. And your dreams, the quiet whispers of healing already on their way. No medicine is needed tonight. No fixing. Just soft breath, a relaxed body, and the warm mystery of your sleeping brain. Let the temple rise in your mind now. It need not be grand. It may be carved from wood, nestled in trees, or woven from fabric, held by candlelight. Whatever your sleep temple looks like, let it welcome you. Let it hold you. Let it remind you that you are allowed to lie down and be still. That you do not have to solve everything while awake. That your dreams can help in quiet, unseen ways. Breathe. There is nothing more to do tonight. You are inside the temple now, inside the quiet, inside the dream, and all is well. And so we drift deeper now through the temple's quiet halls into the oldest part of the dreaming mind. Because long before there were books, before scrolls, before written language, there were dreams, and people all across the world saw them not just as memories or visions, but as stories. Stories sent from somewhere else. Some believed that they came from the gods, others from the ancestors, or perhaps from deep within, from the soul's own voice. In every culture, you will find tales of powerful dreams, dreams that warned of danger, dreams that offered love, dreams that whispered of journeys yet to come. In ancient Egypt, dreams were written in ink, upon papyrus, carefully collected, like poems or spells. Dream interpreters, known as seers of the night, were called to read them. The dreams of pharaohs were especially sacred. A dream could bless a reign, or mark the beginning of a war. In the symbols, a lion meant power. A river might mean change. A falcon, in flight, was the soul itself, far away in the lands of the Ambiore. Dreams were known as Momo, a spiritual thread that connected the world of the living with the spirit realm. They were not random. They were woven, and they were honored. And in the forests of the Amazon, certain tribes believed that dreams were messages from the plants, a way the natural world spoke to humans. All across the world, through all of history, people have stepped into sleep as if stepping onto a path. Because to dream is to travel, and the sleeping brain, far from being silent, is a brilliant storyteller. It paints with emotion. It sculpts with memory. It writes stories without language. Even now, as you begin to fade deeper into rest, you might feel that gentle unraveling of thought, where the edges of the waking world begin to blur and new images rise. A hallway, a field, a face you recognize, but can't name. This is the dream beginning its work, and it does not ask for logic, only trust. Like a myth told in symbols, like a fable written in moonlight, you are not asked to control it, only to witness, and perhaps to feel something you have not yet felt in the light of day. Let go of any need to make sense. Let the story of your sleep unfold. You are the dreamer now, and the dreamer is always part wanderer, part listener, and part poet. Now we drift into the shadowed side of dreaming, not to frighten, but to soften what has once seemed sharp. Because even within the dreaming mind, there are darker rooms, quiet corners where worry lives, where memory stirs. These dreams, the ones we call nightmares, have long held mystery, but they are not punishments, not intrusions. They are messengers, too, just cloaked in heavier robes. In ancient Mesopotamia, a frightening dream might be interpreted as a warning from the gods, not to cause fear, but to give time to prepare. The Sumerians would write them down, placing the words near sacred objects, as if the dream could be soothed by being seen. In medieval Europe, a nightmare was sometimes called a night hag, a pressure on the chest, a breathless fear. But even then, soft folk remedies were shared. Lavender was tucked under pillows, holy water sprinkled near beds, not to fight the dream, but to comfort the dreamer. The ancient Chinese understood nightmares as a disruption in ki, the natural energy of life. To balance it, they would stir herbs, burn calming incense, whisper gentle prayers. And in indigenous Siberian culture, a dream catcher might be made, delicately woven with threads of belief, to let good dreams flow through and hold the painful ones in its web until morning light could dissolve them. Always, even in the face of fear, human beings responded to nightmares not with violence, but with care. You see, the sleeping brain does not wish to harm. It tries to help. Even when its language feels dark, nightmares often appear when the waking mind is overwhelmed, when something is unresolved, when an emotion needs to be felt, but has had no place to land. And so, the dream offers its space, sometimes in strange costumes, sometimes with too much urgency. But the intention always is to relieve, to release, not to torment. So if you've ever woken in a sweat with a racing heart, from a dream to vivid to forget, know this. It was your mind doing its best to understand what you had no words for yet. It was your inner self carrying something you had no time to carry during the day, and by dreaming it, by seeing it, by feeling it, even in shadow, you let a part of you be heard. Now, as you lie here, safe and still, perhaps you can soften toward those dreams too. Not to invite them, not to relive them, only to see them as part of the great work your mind does in the dark. You might whisper, just in thought, "Thank you for trying to protect me, even if I didn't understand you," because even the most tangled dream is still woven from your own threads, your own fabric of memory, your own breath, your own soul. There is nothing inside your dreams that isn't already yours, and that means you are not powerless. You are the sky through which all dreams pass, some with clouds, some with light, all eventually drifting on. So now you may let go, even of the dark ones. They've done their job. They don't need to stay. The night is quiet now. The shadows have softened, and your breath is a lullaby of safety. Let us drift now, lightly and slowly, toward a different kind of dream, one that is neither nightmare nor vision, but something in between. The dream in which you become aware that you are dreaming, a lucid dream. You may have felt it before, a moment inside a dream when the world feels just a little too strange, and something inside you says, "This is not real." And instead of waking up, you stay, and you begin to move as if you are both asleep and somehow awake. Lucid dreaming has fascinated humankind for thousands of years. The ancient Greek philosopher Aristotle wrote about dreams in which the mind could recognize the dream state even while the body slept. In his writings, he describes moments when a person, though dreaming, is aware that what they see is not real. Yet the emotions, the sensations, are vivid and meaningful. The Tibetan Buddhist practice of dream yoga goes even deeper. For centuries, monks trained themselves to wake up inside their dreams, not to control them, but to use them as a path to enlightenment. Through meditation, breathwork, and nightly rituals, they would prepare the mind to stay conscious while the body rested. To them, the dream was a classroom, a temple, a mirror of the soul. In the Middle Ages, Christian mystics wrote about visions in which they felt guided through the dream world by angels, fully aware and yet not awake. They saw the dream as a thin veil between the earthly world and the divine. Later, in the 19th century, as science began to study sleep more closely, people began to keep detailed dream journals. And it was in these journals that patterns appeared. Moments of clarity, moments of awareness, moments where the dreamer said, "I knew I was dreaming." And from this, a quiet movement grew. Ordinary people trying to enter their dreams with their eyes open, so to speak. And today, some still practice it. Before sleep, they whisper intentions. They ask questions, like gentle invitations to the mind. Tonight, I will remember I am dreaming. Tonight, I will look at my hands in the dream. Tonight, I will fly. Because in a lucid dream, you can do such things. You can walk across water. You can speak to people you miss. You can walk through old memories, like rooms in a house. Not always, but sometimes. The secret is not control, but awareness. You must stay gentle. Stay open. If you try to force it, the dream disappears. Lucidity is a candle, a soft, flickering glow that lets you see more clearly, but must be handled with care. And what happens in a lucid dream? That is for the dreamer to find out. For some, it is a gift, a way to explore, to heal, to grow. For others, just a strange, passing moment in the long stream of sleep. But I'll agree on one thing. It is beautiful to wake up inside the dream, to look around and feel, not afraid, but deeply present. Even here, you might begin to wonder what it would feel like to lift off from the ground, to walk into a painting, to ask a question and hear an answer from the sky. These are the possibilities of the dreaming brain when awareness meets imagination. But for now, you don't need to chase it. You can simply drift. And if you become lucid tonight, let it be gentle. Let it come to you like moonlight through a curtain. Not rushed, not forced. Just quietly known. Because even without lucidity, your dreams are working. They're doing what dreams do. Weaving, repairing, exploring. And all you need to do is rest. Now, with your breath slow and your thoughts like leaves floating on a stream, let's gently wander into the quiet realm of science. The modern kind. Softly lit laboratories. Peaceful rooms filled with gentle beeps and blinking monitors, and researchers speaking in low, thoughtful tones. Today, sleep is studied not only in stories, but through machines and gentle observation. Yet even now, the mystery of dreaming remains. Not solved, but more deeply appreciated. Let's begin with how the body surrenders to sleep. Each night, as the sun disappears, your brain begins to release melatonin, a silent, natural chemical that whispers, "Time to rest." Your body temperature drops. Your muscles begin to loosen, and slowly, like dusk, turning to darkness, you begin to slip through the stages of sleep. Stage 1 is light, a drifting, floating phase, where thoughts still flutter. Stage 2 deepens, brainwaves slow, heart rate calms. Then, stages 3 and 4, the deep sleep, where the body restores itself, where muscles are repaired and memories settle. And then, after nearly 90 minutes, comes REM sleep, rapid eye movement sleep. It is here, in this mysterious and beautiful phase, that the dreaming truly begins. During REM, your brain becomes very active, nearly as active as when you're awake, but your body remains still, frozen in gentle paralysis, to keep you safe from acting out the stories of your mind. It is in REM that the dreaming brain comes alive. And what exactly is happening? No one can say for sure, but there are soft theories, like fragile glass birds, each gliding in a different direction. Some scientists believe dreams are the brain's way of sorting memories, as if each night your mind picks up the scattered papers of your day, reads through them, and files them neatly into long-term memory. Others suggest that dreams are the mind rehearsing challenges, playing out fears, practicing emotions, testing responses. Still others see dreams as creative bursts, the imagination free to explore without logic's leash, where artists, musicians, and inventors may receive strange and wonderful insights that seem to arrive from nowhere. There are patterns, too. In brain scans, we can see the amygdala, the part of the brain tied to emotion, glow brightly during dreaming. So it's no wonder dreams often feel deeply personal, even when they make no sense at all. The prefrontal cortex, which handles logic and reasoning, becomes quiet during sleep. This may be why dreams are so free, untethered from rules, able to leap between times and places. And so, each night, your brain does this miraculous dance. It rests and repairs, but also paints and wanders. You don't need to command it. It knows what to do. It has known for thousands of years. The scientists of today watch with AU not to reduce sleep to machines and charts, but to understand just a little more of this beautiful biological magic. And even with wires and blinking monitors and inked graphs, the truth remains simple. Dreaming is something only you can experience. Only you can see the colors, feel the emotions, walk the corridors of your own mind. And though we now know how the body drifts into dreams and how the brain lights up in REM, we still don't know why dreams take the shape they do. That part remains yours, unique, unspoken, sacred. So tonight, as you move closer to your own dreaming, remember how much your brain is doing for you. Gently, quietly, with infinite care. It watches, it repairs, it dreams, and all you must do is rest. Let your body be still. Let your thoughts dissolve, and let the science of sleep carry you, like a ship on the softest tide, into the calmest part of the night. And now, let us turn gently toward dreams that leave behind more than memories, dreams that shape stories, dreams that whisper melodies, dreams that paint pictures or unlock answers to problems long unsolved. Because sometimes, in the quiet hours of sleep, something stirs, an image, a phrase, a spark. A dream becomes a seed that grows into something beautiful and real. Throughout history, many of our most treasured works of art and music have come not from waking labor, but from the soft gardens of dreaming. Consider the story of Mary Shelley, the young woman who would give us Frankenstein. In the summer of 1816, she slept in a villa by Lake Geneva, surrounded by poets and storytellers. One night, after discussing tales of the macabre, she dreamed of a pale figure, brought to life by the flicker of lightning. She awoke with trembling wonder, and by morning, the foundations of her story had taken root. A tale born of a dream, timeless, haunting, unshakable. And then there is Paul McCartney, who once dreamed the melody for yesterday. He awoke with the tune already in his mind, so complete, so vivid. He believed he must have heard it somewhere before, but it was his, a song from sleep, a gift from the dreaming brain. Even Dmitri Mendeleev, the great chemist who created the periodic table, reported that its structure, the elegant arrangement of elements, came to him in a dream. He had studied for days, seeking order in the chaos of chemical symbols, and then one night, his brain, relaxed and unburdened, delivered a vision. Rows and columns, patterns and logic. He awoke and wrote it down. Sometimes, The dreaming brain sees clearly what the waking brain cannot. The painter Salvador would even try to catch that moment, that fleeting flicker between sleep and wakefulness. He'd sit in a chair with a spoon balanced in his hand, and as he began to doze, the spoon would fall, clinking against a plate and waking him instantly. In those suspended seconds, he claimed to find bizarre and beautiful imagery. Melting clocks, floating eyes, soft-faced figures born in silence. To him, the edge of sleep was a golden window. But even beyond artists and scientists, ordinary people have felt it too. A dream of a place they'd never seen, and later find a phrase that solves a personal puzzle. A strange vision that leads to a decision they had been struggling to make. The dreaming brain is more than a storyteller. It is a quiet inventor, a healer, an inner guide, because dreams are not bound by the rules of waking thought. They don't worry about time. They aren't limited by logic. In dreams, images collide in strange combinations. A face becomes a mountain. A question becomes a door. A fear becomes a voice that sings. And in that surreal melting pot, new ideas can form. The dreamer does not always understand them at first. But later, when they rise in the morning light, the idea lingers, like the scent of a flower from a garden unseen. And so, over time, we've come to respect not just dreams for their mystery, but for their usefulness. They are companions to the creative, silent collaborators who work while we rest. Tonight, your own mind may be crafting something new, even as you slip into slumber. Perhaps it's an idea, a word, a feeling, or maybe just a soft piece of knowing that your brain is still tending to thoughts and emotions long after your eyes have closed. So, rest deeply, and if something comes to you in a dream, a song, a sketch, a sentence, a smile, welcome it, let it unfold gently, and thank your dreaming mind for its quiet magic.